At one point in his career, Francis Ngannou was the apple of Dana White's eye.
Francis Ngannou has the world record for the most powerful punch. His punch is the equivalent to 96 horsepower, which is equal to getting hit by a Ford Escort going as fast as it can.
But it didn't take long for the Cameroonian to go from the scariest man on the planet to an alleged coward, according to the UFC CEO.
Francis wants to take zero risks. Doesn't want to take any chances. And he obviously didn't want to take a chance against John Jones.
Why did the narrative shift so dramatically? And who has had the last laugh in this tug-of-war between Ngannou, Dana, and the UFC? Let's find out. From the dusty streets of Cameroon to the cells of Spain and finally to Paris, Ngannou's path to mixed martial arts glory was straight out of a movie. Working for pennies in the sand mines of Cameroon was never Francis Ngannou's thing.
You know, we had to work to contribute at home, to buy oil, to buy food, and also for our scholarship, for books.
With no opportunities to achieve his dream of becoming a boxer in his native homeland, Ngannou took the illegal route to Europe, going through the Moroccan deserts, drinking from wells contaminated with dead animals, getting caught by border police, and being sent back time and time again. But through sheer grit, Ngannou somehow made it to France, where he spent months on the streets. Ngannou's luck finally turned when Fernand Lopez, the coach at MMA Factory, saw his potential. Lopez took him in, trained the raw talent, and transformed him into the Predator. Ngannou began tearing through local competition, eventually earning a UFC contract in 2015. In just a few short years, Ngannou fought for the heavyweight title, but fell short. However, instead of crumbling like most rising stars do, he came back stronger, eventually claiming the belt and cementing his legacy as the most fearsome champion in the UFC. Even with UFC gold around his waist, Francis Ngannou's dream wasn't tied to MMA glory. His true ambition was to follow in the footsteps of his idol, Mike Tyson, and box. Ngannou hoped Dana White and the UFC would back his move into boxing. But Dana didn't share the same enthusiasm. That was the second major rift in their relationship, the first being the issue of low pay.
What is the biggest issue from your standpoint? Is it simply money, or is it the other way, the way you're treated?
No, it's not simply money. I mean, obviously, money is a part of it, but it's also the term of the contract that I don't agree with it. You know, I don't feel like it's fair. I don't feel like I'm free. I'm a free man. I don't feel like, I don't feel like I've been treated good.
Ngannou's demands were far from outrageous. He wasn't asking for luxury, but just fairness. He wanted a bigger slice of the pie for all fighters, health insurance, better sponsorship opportunities, and the freedom to step into the boxing ring.
But I think it's something that everybody should at least have a right to claim for what's best for him, you know, because at the end of the day, we put a lot of work in this job. We take a lot in our body to make it happen, so at least we can have a fair and square deal.
If it was solely about money, Ngannou would have grabbed Dana's hefty offer with both hands. But he didn't.
We offered Francis a deal that would have made him the highest paid heavyweight in the history of the company. More than Lesnar, more than anybody. And he turned the deal down.
The UFC's highest paid heavyweight, Brock Lesnar, cashed in a staggering $8 million for his UFC 200 bout against Mark Hunt. If the UFC really offered Ngannou even more than that, it's clear that money wasn't the sticking point in the negotiation, and that is why Ngannou parted ways with the UFC in early 2023, vacating his heavyweight title and walking away from a dream fight with John Jones.
I think John Jones is just part of the system that I stood up against, and that at some point was trying to stand on my way until they are not in my way anymore.
Being the spin doctor that he is, Dana started pushing the narrative that Ngannou was scared of Jones.
Francis wants to take zero risks, doesn't want to take any chances, and he obviously didn't want to take a chance against John Jones.
Not only that, as Ngannou faced tough negotiations with promotions like Bellator and One Champion, the UFC machine went into full spin mode, pushing the narrative that he had made a massive mistake.
It sucks too because Francis was the man, right? And he leaves, and now it seems like the options are very limited. You sometimes have to just bite the bullet and go, man, you know what? I'm gonna go back to what's familiar.
And Ngannou knew exactly what was cooking.
But Dana has the power over a lot of fighters. You know, a lot of them, they are just there to please the boss. You know, a lot of them, they don't have their own personality, they don't have their own identity. So they just want to fit in something, and you can't blame them.
Dana himself chimed in, claiming that Ngannou's story wouldn't end well.
I know how this story ends. I get what Francis is doing.
Ngannou tuned out all the chatter and kept sifting through offers, ultimately striking a deal with the PFL in May 2023. The agreement not only secured him a multi-million-dollar contract, but also granted him an official role within the promotion. But most importantly, it opened the door for him to box legends like Tyson Fury, who had been calling Ngannou out. A certain someone wasn't too pleased, and called the PFL deal a load of crap.
This whole thing is just a bunch of
5 months later, Ngannou left Dana and his crew in the dust once again, stepping into the ring against Tyson Fury for his boxing debut. Yet, many still doubted his ability to stand toe-to-toe with the boxing champion. But there was one man who didn't doubt him, and that was the very fighter he was about to face.
Underestimate anybody, and people are like, especially the media, they're like, oh, Francis doesn't have a chance. So I say, if I go to the Boozer, the old battle cruiser across the road, and I get in a brawl with a guy, a drunken guy, he's gonna hit me, and he might have a chance of knocking me out.
While Ngannou couldn't knock Fury out, he shook the boxing world to its core by flooring him with a counter left in the third round. The rest of the fight was tooth and nail, with many thinking Ngannou had done enough to win. But the judges favored Fury. Nevertheless, Ngannou was still praised for his exceptional performance.
Now he's a superstar. He drops Tyson Fury. He beats him up in the 8th round. It was wild.
It was crazy to watch.
Wild to watch. Like, I can't
crazy
believe
to watch.
I was on the seat of my fucking chair.
Hoping he was winning too.
I was
like,
cushions.
please win, please
grabbing
win.
cushions, twisting in the 8th round. Like, Jesus. Oh my God, he's got him.
Ngannou raked in a staggering $10 million for his fight against Tyson Fury, and even doubled that when he squared off against Anthony Joshua a few months later. However, the latter bout ended in a harsh reality check for the Cameroonian, as he was knocked out cold. Dana was smiling again, at long last.
What did you make of that finish in the Francis fight?
What do you mean? What did I make?
Yeah,
what did I make of it?
When you saw it, like it was. People are saying it's one of the more violent knockouts in boxing history.
Yeah, I mean, going into the Fury fight, if Fury trained for the fight and didn't show up and, look like he ate Tyson Fury, it's probably the way that fight would have ended too.
As if the loss to Joshua wasn't gut-wrenching enough, tragedy struck when Ngannou's world was shattered by the sudden death of his 15-month-old son, Kobe. The little one had suffered from a brain malformation that had gone undetected.
Yeah, all his toys, the stuff that he was playing, the thing that you take from him the other day and put here, is right there, but he's not there anymore, and will never be there anymore.
Despite the overwhelming tragedy, Ngannou stepped back into the ring sooner than anyone anticipated, driven by his aim to honor his late son by capturing the inaugural PFL heavyweight title.
To find him as a motivation to keep going instead of to quit, So I think it's the best way of honoring him.
Standing in Ngannou's way was the gigantic Renan Ferreira, a man riding high on a winning streak. However, Ferreira proved no match for Ngannou's ferocity. In just 3 explosive minutes, Ngannou took him down and pounded his way to a dominant victory. With the PFL heavyweight title secured, Ngannou looks ahead to face rising heavyweights in the promotion. The competition is bound to get tougher, but for a warrior who has overcome insurmountable odds, stepping into the cage is merely a stroll through the park. Will Francis Ngannou go down as one of the GOATs of MMA when all is said and done? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and turn on those notifications. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.